Hello and welcome to the Golden Octagon MMA Podcast. I am Matt Anderson. On the other side of your screen is Dorian Rose. How you doing this week, man?
We're doing good, dude, and been a hell of a run for the UFC as far as the cards have been putting together. And I mean, we might talk about it here in a little bit, but that card last week might be the card of the year. And then we're coming to another good weekend of fights, and then we have the pay-per-view coming up after that. So the UFC's been on a good run, and they've been putting on some exciting shows. And I was actually able to get off early on Saturday to watch pretty much all the fights. So I was able to kind of live it in the moment, and it's super exciting.
I know, like when you texted me back, yeah, I actually got off at 5. I was like, no way he got off at 5. He's been watching this entire UFC Austin card. That's nuts. All right, before we get started real quick, let me give you guys a quick rundown of today's show. So up first, we will be talking about this past weekend's fights. Just a quick recap. UFC Austin, Kattar versus Emmett. Moving down to the next topic of the day, the featherweight division. As a whole, there's a lot going on, and I just want to get Dorian's thoughts and opinions on it just real quick before we get out of here today. The next topic is fight news, just the fight announcements. You guys know how it works over here. Moving down to our next topic of Dana White's comments on Nate Diaz and what he said. Pretty interesting stuff, and I wouldn't mind talking about it with Dorian here. And our last topic of today's show, UFC Fight Night, Tsarukyan versus Gamrot. We're going to give you our picks. We're going to give you guys a quick preview. But with that being said, before we get started, if you guys wouldn't mind, please put a thumbs up on this video. We would greatly appreciate it. And if you're not subscribed yet to the channel yet, come on now, help us out. We're just trying to grow over here, slowly grinding away on the weekly basis. But that's all, man. Let's get into it. First topic of today's show, UFC Fight Night, Kattar versus Emmett. And off the top, we made our picks this past weekend. We both had some dubs. We both had some L's. But at the end of the night, you are 2-4 in your picks. I am 1-4 in my picks. So not too good. So you are this week's pick champ, dude, and new. How does it feel? Your belt's upside down, by the way.
Came through.
There we go. This week's
the glare was on it, so I couldn't see. The glare was on it, so I couldn't see. Yeah, but had to come back and snatch the title back because you was getting a little mouthy fool. You was getting a little mouthy last week. So
yeah. Well, that's what happens when you like when you break out the old clean sweep on me. I had to come back with my own broom myself, and just show you how it's done, dude. That being said, dude, I sent you that parlay, dude. How sickening is that, man? That I was one leg away from turning 50 cents into what was it, $1,100, something like that, dude.
What was the question you asked me? What was the question you asked me before?
Right before the Julian Marquez versus RoboCop fight, I was like the cash out option was like $100, like on my 50 cents, and I was like, do I cash out? And you're like, cash out. I'm like, come on, we got Marquez. I believe in him. We have to let it ride. And then sure enough, Julian Marquez just gets fucking demolished, dude. I was so sad for the rest of the night, dude. But I seen people just messaging Julian Marquez and stuff, just some crazy stuff. Like, bro, at the end of the day, it's not that serious. You're not the one getting knocked out. Like, you shouldn't be fucking messaging these fighters your own fucking bullshit because you lost a bet. Anyway, that's another story, but let's get into it, man. Let's go ahead and start at the main event because pretty much just bangers all the way down through the card. So let's go ahead and start at the main event. Calvin Kattar versus Josh Emmett. I got to be honest, I don't know if I'm biased. All my bets at this point were already off. Only our bet was on the table still. And dude, I thought Calvin Kattar won round 2, 4, and 5, dude. I don't know what you thought. I don't know how many rounds you thought that that Josh Emmett won, even if you thought Josh Emmett won. So we're going to start there, dude. Let me know how you thought the main event this past weekend went, and what you think.
So I can understand, going back and forth both sides as far as, whether Emmett won or whether Cater won. Uh, on the first watch, I will say I think the swing round was that second round. Because most of the people that I noticed that gave Josh Emmett, most people gave Josh Emmett first and third, and then most people gave Cater, which it wasn't even close, the fourth and the fifth round. Cater clearly won those last two rounds. And for the one judge to actually rule on his scorecard that Cater lost the fourth round to Josh Emmett was crazy. And for Josh Emmett to have the audacity to come out after the fight and say he won 4-1 was absolutely crazy. But I think that second round was a swing round. And to me, on the first watch, I thought Josh Emmett won it. I thought he won the second round just because, and people have talked about it, but just the power in his punches. I thought he was able to push Cater back a lot with his shots, where Cater was able to land a lot of jabs, but it didn't seem as much sustained damage as Emmett's big hooks were, even if Cater was kind of half blocking them. But I think after the second round, I noticed that the UFC put up the graphic on, they'll show the graphic for the strike counts. And for the significant strike count in the second round, it had Cater 20, Emmett 19. And I think when they showed that graphic, I think that can easily sway the people's minds that are watching the fight live, saying, oh, well, he landed more strikes than him in that round. That means he won that round. When if you go back and actually look at the action that took place, to me, it seemed like Josh Emmett was landing more of the damaging shots when he was able to step in and land those combos. And I guess he just had more flurries rather than Cater was kind of getting one shot off at a time. He wasn't really throwing too many combos. And even after the second round, his coach pulled him over to the side and said, what's your hesitation for? And he said that Emmett keeps loading up on his shots. And basically, he didn't want to get hit with the big shot. So on that first watch, I thought Emmett won the second round, and I thought that was the swing round. But going back, I watched it again. I can see how people said Cater, but on the first watch, I did think Emmett won.
Fair enough, dude. I think what won it for Cater in my eyes was that jab, dude. Just cut him, and just it kept getting worse and worse throughout the entire fight, dude. I was like, man, he's really beating him up. And I believe it was the second round when he very first cut him with that. I don't understand how a strike can be thrown, not counted as a significant strike as a jab, but it cuts the dude. I don't understand that. I feel like that should have been counted as more, and it like wasn't, because he like really cut him open with that fucking jab in the second round there. Maybe even like the end of the first round. I only watched it like the one time, dude. I did not go back to watch it again. But that being said, dude, I like the first watch, I just thought Cater had just won it. I actually wrote down like my thoughts in my phone, so I was like, oh, what did I think? And I had it right there from my like my live view. But I thought Cater took it. And apparently I wasn't the only one, dude. There were a lot of people who thought I think Calvin Cater won that fight.
Yeah. There was a lot of people that thought that Cater won, and there's even guys that I work with that watched the fight, and I think they had a little bit of money on the line as well. But they even said that they thought Cater had won. Like I said, going back, I could see how people thought Cater won the second round. The only thing that really kind of did it for me was Josh Emmett was having the flurries, and he kept landing that left hook to the body, because when he was throwing the right hooks to the head, Cater was starting to block a lot of them there in the second round. He was starting to catch his timing, and Emmett was throwing a lot of body hooks at that point, and that left body hook was money. I did not realize that Josh Emmett had a nasty body hook like that, because you know how I am as far as when guys throw rib roasters, man, it's a thing of beauty. But and then I thought even him going back into his corner after the second round, and then Tyson Chartier, Calvin Cater's coach, kind of insisting on him to put on a little bit more pressure, because he's asking him why is he hesitating right now. I thought for me that kind of affirmed it, but I mean maybe as the same way that I'm saying that the UFC showing the strike graphic account, maybe that could sway people's one way. Maybe Calvin Cater's coach swayed me to think that Emmett won the second round because, his coach is over there trying to give him a pep talk to get him, kind of fired up. But no, Emmett definitely did not win 4 rounds of 1. And he definitely lost the 4th and the 5th round. But overall, it was a super fun fight. Both of them, I think the fight kind of played out the way that we thought it was going to, as far as going to a decision. Both guys are super tough. Josh Emmett's only been finished 1 time. He's only lost once in the UFC. And if you go back to that Jeremy Stevens fight, he actually got hit with an illegal knee when he was down. So there was a chance that he actually could have survived, gotten back up, and done something in that fight. But other than that, both guys are just tough as old leather, just throwing hooks for days. Calvin Cater's boxing is beautiful. He was in that spinning elbow that he landed on Josh Emmett was freaking crazy.
So we had some audio issues there, but Dorian was talking about in the 4th round, Calvin Cater with that spinning back elbow on Josh Emmett, dude. Talk about it from there. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Oh no, just really just to say that it was an absolute war, and the fight played out basically how we thought it was going to, that both guys are going to slug it out and probably going to go all 5 rounds, but it ended up being a super entertaining fight. It was just crazy that at the very beginning that the crowd had the audacity to boo Calvin Cater and Josh Emmett at the beginning, but I think it just results from the rest of the card. So once the fight started slow, it was easy to kind of boo him.
How crazy is it that my camera starts blurring? I was like, what the hell? Like, my shit doesn't ever do that. And then now my camera starts blurring. Yeah, dude. Great fight overall. Like that 4th round, like fucking that the judge said, I'm glad you pointed that out because I actually wanted to be like, and this for sure, like that one judge that gave Josh Emmett round 4, dude. What the hell? Like, what were you watching, dude?
Drunk.
Dude, he had to have got the fighters mixed up or something. I have no clue what that guy was watching, dude. He got hit with a spinning back elbow, was stumbled. He got hit with some knees. He almost got dropped. How the hell did he win that round? I have no clue. But that being said, let's go move on down to that being said, I picked Calvin Cater in that fight. Dorian did pick Josh Emmett to win that fight, and he ends up getting it done. So Dorian gets a check mark on that fight for his last dub of the night, if you will. Moving on down to the next fight. We both picked Kevin Holland, man. You said Kevin Holland by decision. I said Kevin Holland is going to finish him. I don't know if he's going to knock him out or if he's going to sub him. In the end, he ends up subbing him, dude. Crazy fight. Kevin Holland, a complete athlete at 170, dude. So much faster, so much quicker. He is lightning out there. And this shows you why he's my favorite fighter at 170, dude. Without a doubt. He is always down. His fights do not go to decision. He is down to finish whoever it is out there, no matter what. I love me some Trailblazer, man. How do you think this fight went?
Yeah, so you pointed it out, just the athleticism of Kevin Holland. He's going to be a problem for 170 just because you could see, and Tim Means, he's one of those old grizzled vets. I mean, obviously I thought, Kevin Holland's going to win, but I have a lot of respect for Tim Means and what he's been able to do. And even Kevin Holland says similar to the same, that he had a lot of respect for Tim Means going into this fight. He's one of the OGs. He's been around for a long time. He's always, in there to fight, win, lose, or draw. He's going to give you a good fight. And I thought that was a good test for Kevin Holland. And Kevin Holland, he really passed with flying colors because I thought Tim Means, he was able to land a couple of good shots. He got Kevin Holland in the clinch and hit him with an elbow, landed a couple of hooks. But for the most part, man, Kevin Holland was pretty clean with his defense and didn't get hit too much. The only thing that really, and I like Kevin Holland. The only thing that worries me about him moving up in the division is with him, amongst the top of the division, there's a lot of good wrestlers. And if he gets up to the top of the division, one of the things that he does is he overcommits on his punches and his hooks so much, it almost looks like he's falling over himself. And it's like he gets in these wild exchanges where he's throwing hooks. And I swear every time he throws one, it looks like he's about to go off balance and fall to the ground. I do think those are some things that he does that can leave him exposed to when he gets to the top of the division. But I think that's also stuff that he's going to get cleaned up as well. Part of the cleanup that he's made to 170. And, they even pointed out his frame as well, as far as, he was a lot thicker at 185, whereas 170, he's still skinny, but he's got a lot of cut to him as far as muscle wise, more than he did at 185. And that's because he's really taking his weight cut serious. So I am glad to see him progress. And it seems like he's just getting better with each fight at 170.
Definitely, man. I love me some Trailblazer, dude. Just so entertaining no matter what, dude. Always down to finish. And how can you not like a complete finisher, dude? He just wants to finish you no matter what. So he ended
and
up
he's well, no, I was going to say, and he's apparently a part-time superhero, because he just manages to always end up busting some type of thieves. This time, what was it? Right before the weigh-ins, he ended up catching some dude that was stealing a bottle of perfume, and they ended up catching them and turning them in too. So apparently, he's always at the right place at the right time.
Definitely, it's just crazy. So, after the fight, called out Sean Brady, dude. Interesting fight, because you'd think like everyone's like, he's just gonna hold him down. Maybe they're both black belts, two different types of games, if you will. But man, Sean Brady's got to watch out for the power of Kevin Holland, dude. That's just one thing that it's like, oh shit. And then he also said that on his Instagram yesterday that he also wanted to take a short notice fight up at 185. What do you think is the best decision for him? Dana White said after the fight he could do whatever he wants, that he doesn't care.
I mean, I get, if the matchup at 185 makes sense, then I'd say go ahead and do it. But at this point, why try to knock him off his trajectory at 170? So I think he should stay there. And as far as the Sean Brady matchup, little too early for that matchup. I think at 170, I still think he should probably get about like a fight or two more, just because I don't want to see him get thrown to the top of the division, similar to where he did at middleweight, and then get dominated by two wrestlers for over 10 rounds. So Sean Brady does have that type of game, and Paul Felder, I've heard him talk numerous times and say that Sean Brady is literally the strongest person that he's ever grappled with, saying that like whenever it comes to his top control, he said when they spar, he would get the best of him in sparring, but he said when it came down to the wrestling, he said whenever Sean Brady got him down, he literally could not move and could not get up. So just hearing about the stories of Sean Brady, plus seeing the results that he's been able to put up here as of late, I think that's a bad matchup for Kevin Holland. A lot of people, and I wanted to see what you thought about this, that I've seen a lot of people tweeting saying him and Michelle Pereira. What would you thinking about a fight between Kevin Holland and Michelle Pereira?
Kevin Holland and Michelle Pereira, dude, two of my favorite fighters in the division. But you know who I would have to rock with? We exposed that on last week's show. I'd have to rock with Kevin Holland. But Michelle, the new Michelle, dude, he isn't as exciting as the old Michelle. So that being said, dude, Kevin Holland for sure. I would have to rock with Kevin Holland. Anything else on this fight, or you want to move on down to the next one, dude?
Just I like the development in Kevin Holland's game. I know he's had submission wins before, and I know he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, but the way he snapped up that Darce choke, it was nasty. So I'm glad to see him finally being able to fully round out his game.
Definitely, indeed. All right, so the feature fight of the night, Joaquin Buckley. Or hold on. So that being said, I technically win that. That is my one win of the night. I picked Kevin Holland by finish. Dorian picked Kevin Holland by decision. We have to get some kind of difference on here, because we're going to pick the same damn fighter every single time. So the feature fight of the night, Joaquin Buckley taking on Albert Duradev. Dude, Albert Duradev on his Contender Series fight completely looked like he was trying to be like another Kamzat. So that being said, when it was announced like that he was taking on like Joaquin Buckley, dude, I was like, I have to go Albert here. In the end of the night, I picked Albert, you picked Buckley, and Buckley just had a fire lit under him, dude. He was not about to let this dude fucking get the dub at the end of the night. End up swelling his eye up massively like a balloon. His eye was swollen crazy, dude. But I guess in doubt, like fucking Buckley gets the TKO at the end of round 2 on the stool because he can't come out for round 3. So what do you think happened here, man? How did you like this fight? Give me your thoughts.
I thought Buckley, he came out fired up, and I know he was kind of talking during the week saying that nobody's been giving him the respect that he deserves. And I know we had mentioned that last week too, that he was coming out with some venom towards the media, saying that they need to put some respect on his name. I think this is that type of performance that sort of gains that respect for him, because he went into a matchup against a guy who he's trained with before, Albert Duraev, and Albert Duraev was known to kind of handle Joaquin Buckley when it came to the wrestling. And Joaquin Buckley even came out and admitted it during his media press last week that, yes, when they wrestled in the gym, that Duraev had a lot of good moments. But, man, you could see a lot of the growth in Joaquin Buckley's game. When he ended up getting taken down in the second round, he was against the cage, and he had one of the underhooks. And he was able to just, out of his pure athleticism, explode out of that position and flip Duraev on his back, get back up on his feet, and let Duraev get back up. And when he got up on his feet, Buckley was just laying it on him, and just left hand after left hand, ended up swelling the eye up. He ended up taking a similar Joaquin Buckley ended up taking a similar head kick that knocked him out against Alexio Di Chirico. He took a similar head kick to that, and he actually ended up staying up. It was a nasty head kick, split his eye wide open. But, man, he really showed a chin. He showed good wrestling defense. He didn't get taken down that many times, and when he did get taken down, he was able to get back up on his feet real quick and respond. And he was just so explosive with his strikes. Duraev really didn't know what to do. And at the end of that second round, I honestly thought Duraev didn't want anymore. I thought that part of that was because, when he's leaning on the cage and the doctor was coming in, Duraev's leaning on the cage, shaking his head like this. I think Buckley kind of put it on him a little bit. Might have had some assistance in maybe getting Duraev to mentally not want to be in there anymore. But just Buckley, he just showed an all around performance, and really earning the respect of a lot of MMA people, or a lot of MMA fans.
For sure, for sure. Like a hell of a fight, like overall, just back and forth, head kick for head kick, punch for punch. But in the end of the night, Joaquin Buckley just ends up getting the more damage laid down to get Albert Duraev out of there. So moving on down to one of the fights that you didn't know about him. Do you know about him now, dude? Damir Ismagulov and what is it? Where did it go? I know it's Guram Kutateladze. I don't know why I wanted to say Gamrot Kutateladze. Guram Kutateladze. Gamrot is this upcoming weekend. Yeah, so Guram Kutateladze and Damir Ismagulov, dude. Good fight, back and forth, both ways. Who do you think won this fight overall? And do you know them now? Can you understand why they're both really high prospects in this division, even though the lightweight division is fucking stacked, dude?
Yeah, and I think that's part of what it is too. Is that the lightweight is so stacked right now? Is that it's so easy to just, if there's guys that aren't ranked, it's easy to just not know much about them or just forget about them. But I think for that fight, I did think Damir Ismagulov won. I thought he was a little bit cleaner with the striking. I did think there in that third round, I thought Ismagulov was winning, but when Guram Kutateladze, when he had Damir on the ground and he hit him with that knee. So he hit him with the knee in the body, but it looked like it was to the head. He had about 30 seconds left there in that round, and that round was kind of up in the air at that point. And where Herb Dean stopped it and stood it back up, I thought that kind of ruined it for Guram to have kind of like a last-second surge. I thought he was losing the third round up to that point. But if he had got him on the ground and landed enough ground and pound, who knows? He could have swayed the judges into a decision. But I thought Garam won round one. He was landing some nasty elbows when he had Demir up against the fence. But I thought Demir, he had super clean striking. I mean, super clean striking. And his takedown defense, dude, there were multiple times where Garam went to try to take him down in the middle of the cage, and he just pushed his hips out, got him off of him, and just kept it standing. So it was a super technical fight. But even though, a lot of the fights that went to decision, or that a lot of the fights went to finish on the card, this one was one of the few decisions. This was a really fun fight too, and I can definitely see why these guys had the hype coming in, was because both of these guys are super technical and they're going to be around for a while.
For sure. Dude, these people from Georgia, not the ATL Georgia, but the country of Georgia, it like if like they have a Z at the end, like ZE, fucking Gigas Kadze, like fucking Kutataladze. There's a few other ones too. What's his name?
Dawalish Willie.
No. Roman Dolidze, dude. And we'll talk about him fucking later too, dude. These guys, dude, they're good as shit. They're so technical. They all have really, really good kickboxing, dude. And I thought Guram won round 1 and 3 personally. I thought that knee, it was strictly to the body. Like once Herb like fucking saw the replay, like, come on, Herb, you see him giving the position back, but he even lost the position too. It's like, bro, like what the hell happened there? I thought Guram won, but it is what it is. Next fight of the night, Julian Marquez taking on Gregory Rodriguez. Dude, I'm gonna let you talk about this one, because if I talk about it, I'm gonna cry. Go ahead.
Well, so we both ended up having Marquez going into the fight, and I know we were actually talking about it last week. I believe when we were playing PlayStation, I was like, man, Gregory Rodriguez, I was like, he gets in a fun fight, and I was like, if he uses his jiu-jitsu, he's good. But I asked you, I said, am I missing something? I said, because he likes to get in the slugfest. And I said, man, if there's one dude you don't want to get in a slugfest with, is Julian Marquez, because that dude's got power in his hands and he's got a chin from hell. But and he started off really slow going into the fight, and I think RoboCop just did not give him a chance to get started. I mean, just immediately coming out, just throwing big haymakers, big uppercuts, and was just throwing bombs on him. And when he dropped him the first time with the uppercut, Marquez was able to get back up. He was able to kind of fight him off again, get back to his feet. Gregory Rodriguez ends up knocking him down with another big right hook. And at this point, the fight's pretty much over. And the fight went on for way too long. And was Herb Dean the culprit of this one too? I couldn't remember if Herb Dean was I couldn't remember who the ref was going into the fight. But
I believe it was Mike Beltran, believe it or not.
Yes, it was Mike Beltran. Yes, it was, because I remember them making the mention afterwards now. Yeah, for Mike Beltran to let that fight keep going the way it did, there was no reason for Marquez to keep taking the damage, and RoboCop just eventually ended up walking him down. 2-3 consecutive big right hooks and just put Marquez out completely. But man, I did not realize I really need to see Gregory Rodriguez's birth certificate, because for that dude to be fucking 30 years old, are you kidding me? He looks like he's every bit. He looks older than Glover Teixeira if he had facial hair. Like, dude, there's no way he's 30 years old. But other than that, dude, just I don't want to say a flawless performance, but a super fun performance. 30 years old, coming up in the middleweight division, he's going to have a lot of room to grow too. And dude, he's going to be scary if he can take those big shots like that and still be able to deliver the damage, plus have the jiu-jitsu in his pocket to whenever the fight gets to the ground. He's going to be super dangerous coming up in the middleweight division.
Yeah, I guess my main takeaway from this fight, besides losing my entire big ass parlay, that the only one that I've ever gotten so close to hitting, dude, was fucking RoboCop looked like he was like 2 sizes bigger than Julian Marquez. Like, he looked like he was a heavyweight against like a 185 Marquez. I was like, yes, how does he make 185, man? Like, Marquez is a big guy, but RoboCop was even bigger, dude. I don't
Mm-hmm.
understand. I don't understand.
Yeah, no, he absolutely was, dude. He was freaking mad. Like I did not realize the size difference between the two because I thought the same thing. I thought they were going to be similar size. Gregory Rodriguez leaves his chin out there, but dude, yeah, that size difference was Gregory Rodriguez is a monster.
For sure, dude. And as you said, it just went on way too long. Like once he got fucking stumbled at first, I was like, unless this is like some Czech Congo Pat Barry, dude. I don't know why this is still going on. And it did not look like it was going that way. Like fucking Marquez was swinging, but fucking RoboCop was not getting hit at all, dude. He was like dodging out of the way and just hitting him back. It was just a rough one. So before we spend too much time on this one, man, one that we were excited for, got moved up to the main event, to the not the main event, the main card, because the Cowboy Joe Lozon fight got thrown out. Adrian Yanez and Tony Kelly, dude. Me and you both talked about this. We both said, dude, Tony Kelly's for sure getting fucking knocked out. And it changed to Cheddar. I don't know if you saw Tony Kelly, dude. He missed weight and he looked awful, dude. I called that. It was an easy plus 130 money if you have a shit ton of fucking dollars to put on it. Not like this guy over here. But Adrian Yanez ends up beating the everlasting hell out of Tony Kelly. And then I saw a post-fight interview, and Adrian Yanez said that Tony Kelly told him that he didn't go out, and he was like, bro, yes you did. And then I saw a meme of him playing like an invisible air guitar, dude. It was just nuts. Shout out Adrian Yanez, dude. Great fight. Glad he got the knockout. Glad he got that victory. You know, I'm not going to say it's deserved, but it was kind of deserved with the way that Tony Kelly acts and what he says, like especially when you're on TV, man. Before I go rambling on too much here, I'm gonna let you go for a little bit.
I was like, well, Adrian Yanez is my guy, man. So, I've been big behind him for since he's came out of the Contender Series, and I think for a performance like that, that was definitely the biggest fight in his career as far as the spotlight. Because Tony Kelly coming to the fight, I mean, he ever so much played up that villain role, man. I mean, he just took it and ran with it. And, Giannis had even mentioned that going into the fight, people had kept asking him about the Tony Kelly comments about the dirty Brazilian thing that he said in Andrea Lee's corner. And he said that he shouldn't have said it, but he also said that, he could understand how Tony Kelly watching his girlfriend lose a fight to I think was it Viviani that she was losing to in that fight, right? So when she's losing that fight, Adrian Yanez said he can understand watching his girlfriend getting beat up and just being emotional, and I think Kelly sort of missed those part of Adrian Yanez's comments, and he had a lot of mouth for him going into this week, and Adrian Yanez said, one, he was pissed off that he missed weight. Two, that, he had made the comments about the dirty Brazilians because Gilbert Burns was hitting him up all week saying, if you knock him out, I'm going to send you some money. And then he also said, three, when he was getting ready at the ceremonial weigh-ins, he said he had made eye contact with his son and his wife, and they were, talking and stuff. And he said by the time he had said that, or by the time he was looking at them, Tony Kelly came over there and made some remarks to him too and was calling him boy and stuff like that. So Yanez said, just going into that fight, he had never been that emotional. But just talking about the fight, man, that dude's boxing is so clean. Like that dude's boxing is, I'm sorry, he might be the best boxer in the UFC. I know he's very early into his career right now, but he's got, if you're counting the Contender Series, he's got 6 UFC fights, 5 knockouts, most of them not really going to the third round. All of his fights, he's gotten a post-fight bonus, so he's always there to fight. But man, Tony Kelly, he stood no chance. That boxing was so nice. When he was able to, Tony Kelly kept throwing that teep kick up the middle, and every single time he did, Yanez would catch it, parry, and throw a left hook off of it, and it was so clean. And that first one that he landed, you could see Tony Kelly was sort of chirping during the fight, but as soon as Yanez landed that last little check left hook off the leg kick or off the body kick, Tony Kelly was done for. And I think the ref even let Tony Kelly take a little bit more shots than what was warranted. But Yanez, man, for him to land those brutal left hooks, create the Guitar Hero meme, and to go double middle fingers to Tony Kelly after Tony Kelly had gone double middle fingers to the crowd after they were booing him. Man, I was so freaking pumped up for this fight, dude. Like, and I remember I just jumped up when Yanez had got the knockout, and when he did the double middle fingers, I mean, just goosebumps just all over me as he just stared him down, dude. It was such an exciting performance, and I'm so excited to see, where he can go in this division. And I was actually trying to go on the UFC store to buy some Adrian Yanez memorabilia, and they ain't got shit yet, man. So UFC store, what are you doing? Get some Adrian Yanez gear, because that shit's going to be swept off soon.
Just a few points off of like what you said. Adrian Yanez says, you're not going to come into my hometown or my state and flip off my crowd. This is Texas. I'm from Texas. Hell no. And he just lit a fire under him, and he just finished Tony Kelly. One other point, Gilbert Burns actually did send him some money. It wasn't confirmed how much. It was said over 100 and over 500, but we don't know how much it was. But Adriana is just getting all the damn bonuses from everyone. So that being said, that is the main card of this past weekend. Just a few other key points. Natalia Silva just looked fantastic over Jasmine. Jasuda Vicious, dude. I called it on fucking Change the Cheddar. She was in all my bets, and thank God she was, even though I didn't end up winning. She was a solid anchor for all of my shits at a plus 200 straight up, dude. I had her. And Court McGee, dude, usually tougher than an old leather boot, but Jeremiah Wells, dude, just has the damn power to just put people out. Ricardo Ramos, crazy spinning fucking elbow over fucking Danny Chavez, dude. Wild shit happened there. Maria Oliveira gets a split decision over Gloria of Blake DePello. I know there was some fucking back and forth there. No one really knows who won. Cody Stamann, really, as I said, dude, he's gonna crush Eddie Wineland, and sure enough, yeah, I couldn't have been more fucking right, dude. Phil Hollis just landing a crazy amount of elbows over Deron Wynn, gets him out of there, and then chirps at DC after, and I think immediately regretted it because he realized, oh shit, DC's still DC. And then the first fight of the night, Roman Dolidze crushes Kyle Dawkins with a knee from the clinch on the fence. Out cold for Kyle Dawkins, man. Anything on the prelims that you want to talk about before we get out of here?
Natalia Silva,
your camera's frozen, man.
Okay,
there,
am I good?
Yeah, all right, yeah, no, you're
good. Okay, yeah. Natalia Silva, she's gonna be a problem for a flyweight because she styled on Jasmine Juice the Vicious. She styled on her that whole fight, so I think she's gonna be a problem. Jeremiah Wells, that dude's gonna be a problem as well. Coming up, that dude's a big, strong dude. Big, he's a good wrestler. I think all of his UFC fights have ended in a finish. So
It's his third one. It was knockout, gonna be another submission, finish now. So I'm sorry, like fucking knockout, sub, knockout. Yeah. So, dude, no one's knocked out fucking Court McGee besides Santiago Ponzinibbio, dude. Court McGee's like, as fucking you say, tougher than an old leather boot, dude.
Yeah, very much so. And yeah, for Jeremiah Wells to be able to do that to someone that tough, man, that's a hell of a performance. And shout out real quick, because I know you had said look out for Roman Dolidze against Kyle Dawkins, and that was one I thought Kyle Dawkins is going to really play it safe, try to wrestle him, but Roman Dolidze didn't even give him the opportunity to do that. Dropped him early, got him up against the fence, and might have broke his nose with that knee, because that knee landed so freaking clean when he got him up against the fence. So good performance from Roman Dolidze, and hell of a win against Kyle Dawkins.
Anything on the Halls versus Wynn fight?
Uh, Deron Wynn doesn't need to be in the UFC, man. Unless he cuts down to 170. I mean, dude,
Bro,
he's
he has
way too
trouble
short to be
making
fighting at 185.
185. Like he had to use the
I
box
know,
and barely made 185, dude. It's like,
I
bro, you're
know.
like
That's
5 foot, was it like 5'5" or like fucking 5'6", dude? It's like, bro, you can't make
yeah, and
185. Like I don't weigh
he's got
185
the
right now.
yeah, he's got the DC backing, so that's a
Yeah.
big reason why he's in the UFC. I'm pretty sure he wasn't even in the UFC before this fight.
Dude,
I'm
he just
sure they
fought for
probably just
Eagle
gave.
in his like fucking last fight. He just fought for Eagle FC.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. Like, yeah, there was no reason he should have been back in the UFC. And I think at 185 for the UFC, he's just not going to be able to compete at the highest of levels because I mean we see once he gets up there, I mean he's just too small. And I really like Deron Wynn too as like a personality. He's a funny guy. I mean, super tough fighter, but no, he's not going to be fit for 185 in the UFC.
For sure. No chance, without a doubt. That being said, let's move on down to the next topic and kind of circle back to the main event real quick of Cater versus Emmett. Emmett, after he won, said that he thinks that he deserves to fight for the title next. So that's one point of talk right now. Alexander the great Volkanovski over this past week had a, I guess, press conference interview, said that he wanted to move up to the lightweight division to fight Charles Oliveira because he thinks that he's going to be Islam. And our third talking point right now is we might have an Aljamain Sterling moving up from bantamweight because if Merab beats Jose Aldo, which was just announced this past week, Merab could be fighting for a title. And Aljamain Sterling has already said that he doesn't want to fight his teammate for the championship. So, crazy bit of news going on here, man. Where do you want to kind of start at and go from there?
I like the Volkanovski wanting to fight. Honestly, I think that's a pretty interesting point because I did see they had the press conference with Izzy and who was the Kai conference as well. So I see that they had the press conference. I didn't see much of the comments from there, but I think that's actually really interesting that Volkanovski thinks that Charles Oliveira is going to win that fight because I think that a lot of people are going to think that Islam is actually going to win that fight because to me, I'm wondering, if he's making those comments now, if Islam does come out and end up beating Charles Oliveira for the title, does Volkanovski then want to move up and try to take on Islam, who's not as marketable of a name?
Don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure that's what it's. He said if Oliveira wins, then he wants to move up. But I know that he said I heard quite a bit about that he thinks he can beat Oliveira. So I'm not sure if he also thinks he can beat Islam or if he just thinks that Oliveira is going to beat Islam.
Okay, yeah, well, yeah, because that just made me curious. And to me, and it still leads to the question that I wonder if Islam does end up going up and beating Charles Oliveira, and then Alexander Volkanovski ends up beating Max Holloway. Does he then still want to move up to lightweight and face Islam, a guy who, yeah, he has the Khabib backing, but maybe not as big of a groundswell of fans really like to watch him fight that much? Whereas Charles Oliveira kind of over time through the mud has, earned his name. And on this big win streak that he's on, does Volkanovski want to take on a guy like Islam who's not as exciting of a fighter?
I think he just wants to go for that greatness factor. At this point, like if he beats Max for the third time, what else can you do? Like at 145, dude, you've already beat everyone. Who else is there that you're not going to beat? I don't think anyone right now. The only hope for us has just retired. Calvin Kattar shut out fucking Giga for us. Maybe Yair, but he just lost to Max too. So it's like there's no one like who's really there if he beats Max, aside from I guess our next talking point, Josh Emmett. Man, do you think Josh Emmett deserves that title shot, dude? Or do you think that he needs to get just one more against one of the top that Max? I obviously don't think he's even has a chance of beating Max, but either like Max, that Brian Ortega, Yair, one of those top guys. Do you think he also needs to fight one of those top guys before he gets that title shot?
I mean, I think he's made a pretty good case as to earning a title shot right now, because a lot of people, coming off that Cater fight with Emmett, a lot of people might not have thought that he won the fight, but at the end of the day, he did win the fight. And Jose Aldo got a championship opportunity off of a loss against Marlon Moraes. So let's not forget. And Alexander Gustafsson had earned a UFC title shot against Daniel Cormier off of a loss. So let's just not act like that, people who have had lesser win streaks haven't gotten a title shot. So I know, maybe like Yair Rodriguez could take Josh Emmett's spot, but I think for who's the most deserving at 145 for a title shot, I think it's got to be Josh Emmett. Beating Calvin Kattar. Calvin Kattar coming off that performance against Giga Chikadze, everybody was talking about how dangerous of an opponent that Calvin Kattar was for anybody, and he's top 4 in the division. So Josh Emmett goes up there and beats him, and then who do you have? You have Yair,
Ortega,
and then he had Max. So those are the guys that are ahead of him. Max is matched up in the championship fight with Volkanovski right now, and then Ortega and Yair are matched up later in the summer. So I think for Josh Emmett, if Volkanovski wins and he doesn't want to move up, I mean, he has the most credible reason to say that he deserves a championship shot, because he's coming off of a 3-4 fight win streak at this point. So, I mean, I think at this point he's put in enough work to earn that championship opportunity, especially look at the top of the division. So even if Yair or Ortega win, if Ortega wins, he just fought Volkanovski, got beat up pretty good outside that third round. He got the absolute piss beat out of him by Max. So, I mean, I don't know if people are clamoring to see that fight either. And then if Yair wins, he's only got he'll be on a 1-fight win streak. But do we really want to see him go up against a wrestler again? I mean, we've seen what happened when Frankie Edgar ended up wrestling him and just beat him to a pulp. And even in the last fight, Max Holloway, who's not a wrestler, was able to wrestle him. So if those guys are able to, I got to think that Volkanovski, a guy who's a lot stronger, probably one of the strongest guys in the division, is going to have a pretty easy time wrestling Yair. So as far as stylistically, what makes the most sense, I think Josh Emmett is the one that makes the most sense out of everybody.
Fair enough. Few points. I don't see Aljo being able to beat fucking Volkanovski. Do you see like him like fucking being able to beat him?
No, way too small. I think he might have like the speed advantage, but especially moving up, he's not going to have any power in his strikes. He doesn't have the most power in his strikes at 135. So moving up, if it's on the feet, I don't think there's any chance he beats Volkanovski.
Fair enough. And one other point, I do think the only person that has basically that same body style as Volkanovski is Josh Emmett, dude. Like, they're both fucking like fire hydrants. They're both like, they're just so short and so stout, dude. Who knows? Maybe Josh Emmett could be Alexander Volkanovski's kryptonite. Jesus, did you hear the thunder?
I was about to say, yeah, I was wondering. I thought somebody was breaking into the house there for a second.
Dude, thunder definitely hit. Like, I'm glad someone heard that. Like, I've been hearing like the rain and like small thunders every now and then, but that was a loud one, dude. I was like, oh shit.
That was
yeah.
Dude, that was loud as hell.
Yeah, let's hurry up and move this along before I don't have any power.
End up getting electrocuted.
Yeah, right. So that being said, dude, featherweight division up in the air. Just some things kind of going on. No one really knows what's going to happen. There's a lot of things up in the air that kind of depend on the next few months, up until October, if you will. That being said, let's move on down to our fight news topic. You know how it works here. Newly announced, Alexander Romanov, my favorite fighter at heavyweight outside of Derek Lewis, taking on Marcin Tybura, added to UFC 278 on August 20th. That is going to be a banger. RIP to Marcin Tybura. I don't know who those are. So let's go ahead with this one. AJ Fletcher taking on Angelusa on UFC 278. We got Leonardo Santos and Jared Gordon also added to the same card. We got Little Figgy, Francisco Figueroa taking on Amir Albazi. Nazrat Hackpress, Jesus, dude, taking on John McDessie on September 3rd in Paris. So like another one of those Paris guys. And official
Dude, John
now,
McDessie is still fighting.
Yep, he's gonna, but it's against Nazrat Hackpress though, so he's not like gonna get like demolished or anything. So it's like probably
John McDessie is still fighting. Dude, that is
dude.
crazy. Just when you said his name, I didn't even realize he was still fighting at this point. I mean, I remember when Cowboy head kicked him and broke his jaw. So you can keep going, but that's crazy. I did not realize he was still fighting.
And officially announced now, I'm sure everyone saw it this past weekend. Vera versus Cruz announced for August 13th. And just two more real quick. Dan Hooker versus Clay Guida also in the works and targeted for October. As I just said, what we're kind of waiting on, Islam versus Oliveira is targeted for October, dude. So that is our fight news. I'm gonna let you just talk about any of those real quick because I'm worried I'm gonna lose power because this thunder and lightning is nuts, dude. I just hear it outside.
Yeah, now the only thing that really kind of catches my eye, too, Dan Hooker and Clay Guida, just seeing where Dan Hooker's at, it's obvious that he wants to kind of get back on the winning track. And I think there's nothing wrong with top level fighters, maybe taking a step back if they have to in order to try to get a win and try to get some wind under their wings. So I don't think there's anything wrong with him taking a matchup against Clay Guida. And Clay Guida is still super tough, so I like that matchup. And for the Charles Oliveira and Islam, we talked about that matchup multiple times, so I don't want to belabor on it too much. But can we not do Charles Oliveira a favor, man? I mean, his 3 championship fights that he's had have all been in the USA against Americans. So now you're going to take him and have him fight in Abu Dhabi, a very heavy Muslim populated place with a very popular Muslim fighter. Can we not give Charles Oliveira a home game every now and then? With the performances that he's been able to put on, with the win streak that he's on right now, can we not give him just at least a weensy bit of respect to at least give him a home game and quit having him fight on other people's territory? I mean, hell, he just fought in Arizona where Justin Gaethje is from, and now he's going to fight in Abu Dhabi where Islam's going to have most of the backing out there. So, man, Charles Oliveira can't catch a break.
It's rough, man. He's just that away team champion warrior that just comes in. You want to take my belt? I'm gonna do it in your hometown. And it doesn't matter, dude. Yeah, that's for sure going to be interesting. Can Islam or what's going to happen when Islam takes Oliveira down? Is he able to fight off the subs, or is he going to be able to attack a sub of his own, or just get that 5-round decision overall? We'll find out in October, hopefully. That being said, let's move on down to our other main topic of news this week. It's its own topic. You wanted to insert this, so I'm gonna let you run from it, dude. Run from here. Dana White's comments to the Mac Life on Nate Diaz, dude. He ended up saying that Nate Diaz should actually probably fight Jake Paul. In reality, that's what he should do. What the hell, dude? That's crazy. What do you think, man?
Yeah, I think it's funny because you can see that the earlier attempts earlier in the year when they're trying to put Nate Diaz in a fight, one of the things I kept saying was, they're trying to sign him to more fights before he takes another fight. And Nate Diaz has put a lot of pressure on them lately as far as, hey, give me a fight so I can get the hell up out of here. And Dana has made multiple comments, stating that he wants to try to keep him, wants to try to give him a fight. obviously he's going to try to match him up to where he can lose so he can try to diminish some of the Diaz value. But I just really thought that for one of the top tier stars in the UFC, I mean, that would be similar to, Nate Diaz is still a top 5 star at this point. If Masvidal, I think Masvidal and Dana, I don't know if they have the best relationship, but they don't seem to have a bad relationship. Let's say, for instance, if he just told Jorge Masvidal, you know what, dude, maybe you should go box Canelo Alvarez after all. It just sounds kind of weird to hear Dana kind of just say something about one of his active fighters on his own roster. And with that, I'm curious to see if Dana is actually going to be willing to do some type of co-promotion with Jake Paul as far as a boxing event. And I would just think that would be so funny, the way that Jake Paul has kept making fun of how UFC fighters don't get paid. Nate Diaz be one of those fighters that has always mentioned that he hasn't gotten his pay from the UFC. And then Dana ends up begrudgingly doing a co-promotion with Jake Paul because he doesn't want to lose the value of Nate Diaz. So just the whole kind of thought about that, I just think it's crazy to think about with Dana, the way he's kind of playing business with Nate Diaz right now. But man, that would be and honestly, as far as Nate taking that fight, man, I don't know. Jake Paul's kind of big. That would I think that would be a little interesting going into the fight if they were to actually sign a bout agreement.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Let me throw one more question at you on this topic. You kind of said something like it, but I'm surprised you didn't just come out with this. Chances of Dana White signing Jake Paul to a 1-fight deal to fight Nate Diaz.
Well, I guess, do you think that Jake Paul actually takes an MMA fight, or
he said he would under his certain stipulations that there's a $50,000 minimum wage for all fucking UFC fighters, and for you insurance for active and retired UFC fighters. So
you think Dana's really going to go through with giving all these fighters pay increases just to have Jake Paul fight under the UFC banner? I don't see that happening.
But I'm saying that there are rules, and I'm sure that maybe something can be done. Like maybe there's an agreement that they can come to. Maybe it's just health insurance. For all fighters, if you're in the UFC more than, fucking 10 years or some shit like that. Like it could be something that an agreement could be came to on it. So aside from the agreement part, do you think that there's a chance that Dana White would sign Jake Paul to the UFC for this 1-fight deal to take on Nate Diaz?
I mean, I think he would bring him on for like a 1-fight deal, but
after like all the trolling and shit that he's done, I guess.
Well, I think the harder pill for him to swallow would be to do a co-promotion with what is it, MVP Productions, or that are promotions that Jake Paul has. I think it would be more of a bitter pill to swallow for him to do that in a boxing realm, rather than signing Jake Paul to the UFC, because a lot of people would see Jake Paul going into an MMA fight. Okay, yeah, you're going to have the kicks, you're going to have the wrestling, you're going to have elbows and knees. So there's going to be a lot more chaos in there to where Jake Paul can lose. And if there's anything that Dana wants to see, is to see Jake Paul lose so he can quit talking shit about Dana and the way he pays the fighters. So I could see him doing an MMA bout, but doing the co-promotion in the boxing, I think that's going to be a whole different avenue. And I don't see Jake Paul taking an MMA fight against an MMA fighter with him only having really boxing skills. I just think that's only a setup for him to kind of lose all the momentum that he's gained to this point.
I guess we'll see. Only time will tell. I just hope he gets knocked out by somebody, dude. I'm tired of seeing him knock out our fucking favorite sports fighters, dude. It's like, why are y'all fighting this dude 2 weight classes above y'all that's clearly on some type of steroids, dude. Like, he's got all the money in the world, the best trainers in the world. Why do you think you can beat this kid? Like, after like the Ben Askren fight, and then like the Tyron Woodley fight, but after he knocked Tyron out, dude, okay, whatever. I'm not betting like a fucking against this guy anymore unless he's fighting Anderson Silva. And even still, dude, it's like, bro, if Jake Paul fucking lands a punch on Anderson Silva like that, he fucking might knock out Anderson Silva, dude. It's like you don't fucking know. Um, I, on the other hand, would still love to see that fight, and I do believe Anderson Silva would win that fight. But let's not spend too much time on this topic, dude. Anything else on Dana White's comments about Nate Diaz?
No, I'm good on that.
All right, man. So let's move on down to our final topic of this week. This upcoming weekend's fights, Arman Tsarukyan taking on Mateusz Gamrot is the main event. Co-main event, Neil Magny taking on Shavkat Rakhmonov, dude. You know how it is. Shavkat Rakhmonov, a dangerous contender coming up in the 170-pound division. Josh Parisian taking on Alan Badeau. Thiago Moises taking on Christoph Giagos. Nate Maness, the return of Nate Maness, dude, fucking crushed Tony Gravely, dude, taking on Umar Nurmagomedov, and he's going to pay for crushing Tony Gravely. Chris Curtis taking on Rodolfo Vieira, dude. We got to pick on that one, yeah. Carlos Olberg taking on Tafon Chukwi. Hold on. I like after I hear like whoever say this, I'm gonna be like, that's how you say it. But I'm gonna go Shai Lian taking on Downtown TJ Brown. Teammate of Thug Nasty. Rallion Paiva taking on Sergey Morozov. JP Buys taking on Cody Durden. I thought they both got cut from the UFC. Brian Kelleher taking on Mario Bautista, and Vanessa the stripper Demopoulos taking on Jinu Fry. She's the chick that hops in fucking Joe Rogan's arms in her fucking last fight after she won. Yeah, that's her. She's taking on Jinu Fry, dude. Jinu Fry is good, dude. Some people counter out, but yeah, she's good. So that being said, dude, let's start on the main card. Arman Tsarukyan taking on Mateusz Gamrot. Two up and comers, dude. I fucking kind of messaged you this. I was like, I'm surprised they're doing this so early, if you will, just because it's like they're both kind of in the bottom of the fucking top 10 to 15. Like they're both kind of there, but I guess it's an all right spot for them to be on the like the main event, but two tough as hell people. But Arman Tsarukyan, a 3-1 favorite, or he at least was earlier in the point. It does make sense. I am leaning toward Arman. Mateusz Gamrot, though, dude, he is good. Only lost once. Arman Tsarukyan, wait, has Arman lost twice now? On my Google,
he had one loss.
Twice.
He had one loss coming into the UFC, and then he lost to Islam. Yeah, he had one loss coming into the UFC, and then he lost to Islam. So
that makes sense. I was like, I really thought he has only lost once, but he's only lost once in the UFC. But got to be honest, my MMA knowledge outside of UFC isn't too high unless I actually take the time to go back and like really research there. But slight lean toward Arman Tsarukyan. He's just a great fighter overall, dude. Excellent wrestling, great striking. He can finish you at any point on the ground, and just built like he is a bricked up. He's just muscled out, just a big guy overall, dude. I'm gonna I have a slight lean toward Arman here. I'd say that he probably gets this done. I assume that you do too, but how do you think this goes?
Yeah, I do think it's a matchup between two up and comers at lightweight, similar to the matchup that Damir Uzmagulov and Garam Kutateladze just had over this past weekend. I think this is a similar one of those matchups. I do think it's a little bit early for them as far as the main event, but I think they want to try to showcase some of the younger up and coming lightweights, because I do think towards the top of lightweight, you have a lot of the older guard who's kind of still sitting amongst the top of the division. And I think they're trying to get some fresh new faces kind of thrown into the scene here. And one of the ways to do that is to have the main event a pretty decent fight card overall. So yeah, I think this is a pretty decent matchup for these two. And I'm sure as far as Armin and Martos Gamrot, nobody wanted to take fights against these dudes that are up towards the top of the division, because both these guys are going to be problems in the future, and they're not as big of names, so it's not going to be as much value for the top lightweights to get a win against one of these guys, or just take the fight against them in general. Because I don't think anybody's beating Armin Tsarukyan right now, unless it's going to be in Islam. Now I think Gamrot, he's super tough. He's got good wrestling too. He's actually got pretty good hands overall. The way he put away Scott Holtzman, not a lot of people put Scott Holtzman away the way he did, and he did it with pretty good ease. So I think that he's going to be tough. But I think at the end of the day, Armin, like you said, that dude's built like a freaking fire hydrant, dude. He's bricked up. He's super strong. The way he was able to control Joel Alvarez in that last fight, just landed that vicious ground and pound, those elbows, and I mean, his face was a leaking faucet of blood. It was absolutely insane. Armin Tsarukyan's on a hot streak right now going into this fight, and so is Gamrot. So that's the reason why it's such a fun matchup. But I do think Armin gets the dub.
Fair enough. So we're both going Armin here. No disagreement here. Moving on down to the next fight. We're going to agree once again, man. Shavkat and fucking Neil Magny. Neil Magny, an excellent test for everyone to see if you belong in the top 10 or higher in the division. Everyone thought that it was going to be like fucking Magny versus Khamzat, but he gets someone that, in my opinion, is probably a worse matchup for Magny overall, because he's going to let you play games. He's going to let you strike with them for just a few minutes. But then Shavkat, I feel like at the start of like every round two, if it even gets there, he just turns it up, dude. He knows what you're going to do, and he's going to come out and he's going to fucking finish you. An excellent striker, in my opinion. Shavkat's striking is so good. He's so patient. He also reminds me a lot of the not getting hit, just like Islam, dude. Shavkat does not get hit or barely gets hit at all. I see this ending in some kind of Shavkat standing ground and pound finish, dude. What do you think happens here?
I think Shavkat, that dude, he's on a roll right now. And Neil Magny, we just got to give credit to him, because whatever people can say about him, he really is willing to fight just about anybody that they give him. He doesn't back down from a fight at all. He called out Khamzat for a long time. He called out Khamzat when that Leon Edwards fight kept falling through. He said, well, give me Khamzat then and I'll fight him. And none of the top guys wanted to fight Khamzat at that point. And Neil Magny was the only guy vocally to say that he wanted to take that fight. So just credit to him for just being the OG that he is. But, man, I just think he's going to be a little in over his head, because I think, similar to what you said, the Khamzat matchup, while that matchup is not good, is not as dangerous as Shavkat Rakhmonov. Shavkat Rakhmonov has similar wrestling, doesn't have the same exact control, but he's super slick and super good with his submissions. You could tell the way that he was able to get some of the submissions that he got, like against Cowboy Oliveira, that rear naked choke, like Cowboy Oliveira. It wasn't even like all the way locked in, but Cowboy Oliveira was like, I wanted no parts of this, and tapped out pretty quickly. I think that Shavkat Rakhmonov, he's so well rounded, and I do think that he ends up getting I think he ends up getting a finish too. I think he ends up actually submitting Neil Magny. So I don't know if you want to make that a part of the picks or not, but yeah, we can.
Why we both may be wrong, and he might end up going to decision and beating Neil Magny. So I said he's gonna.
But I think submission.
All right, so I think he's gonna knock him out. Just overall, should be a finish, but I'm gonna do KO. I think he's gonna stand over him with those ground and pounds. Dude, his standing ground and pound is so lethal, and not many people do it because they don't have the their reach, if you will, to do it. But Shavkat, he definitely does, and we've seen it a few times before. All right, so you think sub Dorian is going chop cop by sub. Next fight, the featured fight, if you will. This is all when I Google UFC. By the way, this is just the way that they have the card set up. Josh Parisian taking on Alan Boudoir. Alan Boudoir is the up and coming heavyweight. Also trains with Cyril Gahn. So I believe we saw him once before, not too many times, but taking on Josh Parisian, dude. Josh Parisian's basically a tough, all right heavyweight. Alan Boudreaux probably going to, for sure, going to win. He seems patient. That's my thing. He seemed a little bit more patient than I would have liked him to be. Alan Boudreaux, unless he turns on the pace a little bit, like fucking more than he did in his like fucking last fight. I like to get the finish. I believe Alan Boudreaux should get the decision nod over Josh Parisian, a heavyweight.
Yeah, I think the only thing that gets a little frustrating with Alan Boudreaux is that I think similar to what you said, he does sort of take his foot off the gas. I think in that Parker Porter fight, that was what kind of ended up hurting him. And I think that's how Parker Porter was able to get that decision win. Seemed like he kind of coasted in the first round because you could see how much of a better athlete he was. But he just kind of got complacent and just kind of, stood there and let the fight kind of just play out the way it did. And Parker Porter was able to sneak out a decision win. So I do think that he has the talent to be able to get it done. I think for Josh Parisian, similar to what you said, super tough dude. He's not going to go anywhere easy. I think Alan Boudreaux, I do think that his hesitation sort of gets me a little bit hesitant as far as wanting to say him. So, I say, as far as a grinder, someone who's going to go out there and give it their all, I think Josh Parisian ends up actually getting it done.
An interesting pick, dude. Do you have the odds on that fight, dude? I can't imagine he's any less than a plus 200 underdog in that fight. He has to be a massive underdog.
According to FanDuel, so okay. I use FanDuel, you use DraftKings, Alan Boudreaux is a minus 125 favorite.
Over the plus.
And Josh Parisian. Oh, Josh Parisian actually, it's close to even money. He's minus 102. So he's the underdog, but just so slightly.
Dude, I'd bet that while you can now, because I believe that's going to change once the weigh in and the fucking stare down happens. I believe that's going to change just a little bit because Alan Boudreaux, he's a big guy too overall. Yeah. Well, I guess fucking Josh Parisian is the taller guy. Dude,
yeah, I was gonna say they're both not small guys. So I mean, and Alan Boudreaux,
he just comes in always comes in really heavy, dude, and he's just not in good shape, and I just feel like he can get beat up, and he can just wilt under the pressure of just getting beat up on, and I just think that's how it's going to go. Just a 3 rounds, just pick them apart. Alan Boudreaux for the decision. Dorian's going Josh Parisian. Our first different one of the night or of the day. Well, I guess kinda. We're both going chop cut. He's going sub. All right, Thiago Moises taking on Christoph Giagos. Jesus, dude. Why is Christoph Giagos still in the UFC, dude? He's still fighting. 19-9.
Yeah.
Thiago Moises, dude. Thiago Moises, good fighter, dude. 27 years old, taking on, dude. Christoph Giagos is only 32. I don't know, dude. I feel like he's older than 32. He looks way older than 32. But that being said, I have to go Thiago Moises here, man. Slight reach advantage to Christoph Giagos, but everything else is virtually identical besides their age.
Yeah, I mean, Giagos, he had a loss against Tsarukyan, so I mean, you can't really be too mad at him that he had a loss against him. Other than that, I mean, he's looked pretty good in a couple of his UFC performances. I think Moises, I think he's lost a lot of momentum since that Islam loss.
The Islam fight. He took him into the 3rd round, yeah.
I mean, he took him to the fourth round, but I mean,
Oh
that's,
yeah,
I
yeah. It
mean,
was
yeah.
it was a
I
five
mean,
round fight.
Conor McGregor took Habib to the fourth round. What did that mean? Nothing. Because at the end of the day, he still ended up taking the L. He hasn't been, he had the loss against Islam, and he also had the loss against Joel Alvarez. Um, Christos Giagos is tough, man. So if there's another one that we can disagree on, I think I'm gonna pick that too. I'm gonna pick Christos Giagos to get the win.
All right. Fair enough, dude. I like when we disagree, dude. It makes it fun. And on to the next one that we're going to well, actually not the next one we're going to disagree on. We are for sure going to agree on this next one. Nate Maness taking on Umar Nurmagomedov, the undefeated Umar Nurmagomedov, dude. Does he get the finish over Nate Maness? I guess that's the question, because Nate Maness, we saw in the Tony Gravely fight, tough as all hell, dude. Can come back from getting fucking mollywop dropped in the first round. Umar Nurmagomedov should definitely get the dub here. I don't know if he finishes like fucking Nate Maness, and if he does, it'll be via submission, dude. Umar is also a very lethal striker. Don't forget that, but I don't think he's gonna knock Nate Maness out. If he gets the finish, it'll be via sub. What are you thinking here, man?
Yeah, Umar Nurmagomedov, according to FanDuel, is a minus 1100 favorite.
Jesus
And
Christ! What's he by decision? What's he by decision right now?
So for right now on FanDuel, the odds are not out for that fight yet. I guess where it's a little bit lower on the card.
Let me see
if
I got it on shout out DraftKings, because they've been having that shit on Tuesdays these fucking past few weeks. I've been making a few early bets. Let's see here.
He's a minus 1100 favorite right now going in. But honestly, I think that would still be a safe bet, just because anybody with the last name Nurmagomedov, you can pretty much put the house on them, and they're gonna come back and win you some cash. Nate Maness is super tough. Like you said, Tony Gravely fight. Tony Gravely, you've seen the hands that he was able to put up just a couple weeks ago and knock the dude out with like a slip uppercut. So for Nate Maness, he's super tough. He can take a shot. But I think he's going to get a little overwhelmed by Umar, and I think he ends up. I think Umar ends up getting the win. Let's say. I think he ends up getting the submission.
All right, fair enough. So just to throw a few odds at you on DraftKings, better odds than on FanDuel, by the way. Umar Nurmagomedov, a minus 900. Nate Maness, a plus 625. Wait, I'm sorry, I got that backwards. Wait, no. What would be better, mine or your odds? Like my odds would be better.
900 is better than minus 900 is minus 1100. Definitely.
So minus 900 for Umar Nurmagomedov, plus 625 like for Nate Maness. Nate Maness to win by decision for Umar is a plus 165. Solid money to be made there. Umar by submission is a plus 100. So more people think that that Umar is gonna sub Nate Maness than knock him out, and Umar by knockout is a plus 400, dude. So everyone thinks Umar by sub is for sure the way to go. And pretty much, as I just said, without even seeing like the odds first, that's the way it should go. Yeah, either Umar by decision, probably gonna sub him though if he's gonna finish him.
Yeah, I think that's the case. A lot of the Nurmagomedovs, I mean, even though Umar, I know he's a lot more of a potent striker, so you'll see a lot more people come out of that camp. They're gonna be a lot more polished fighters rather than Habib was, where he was just predominantly with the wrestling. But I do think that I think he ends up getting a submission.
All right, let's not bet on that one, because I really do think that one could go either way, just because Nate Maness is really tough, and it'll be 4. Yeah. So let's bring it down to 3. Betting on the one that I know we're going to fucking disagree on. Chris Curtis taking on Rodolfo Vieira, dude. You know how I feel here. Rodolfo Vieira is just too big. Unless his weight cut is just god awful, Rodolfo Vieira should definitely get the sub here. If not, for sure a decision. I'm going Rodolfo Vieira all the way here. Are you going Chris Curtis?
Yeah, I am, man, and I'm just surprised that you think that it's just going to be with ease that he beats Chris Curtis, because Chris Curtis, he's a little bit shorter, but he actually has about a 2.5, 3 inch reach advantage over Rodolfo Vieira. So I think the big thing for Chris Curtis, and he has been working on it here as of late, is his wrestling defense. Now for Rodolfo Vieira, he doesn't really have the best of wrestling. But he, of course, we know, just the background that he has in jiu-jitsu, the multiple world championships that he's won in multiple organizations. We know the dangers that he poses on the ground when it comes to his jiu-jitsu. I think the whole point is going to be to get it there. The action man, Chris Curtis, I've been backing him since he came into the UFC. Since he came in and fought Phil Halls on that, I believe it was on the New York pay-per-view last year. So yeah, he's definitely one of the guys that I like to watch. He's super fun. And I think Rodolfo Vieira, I do think that he poses some danger, but I think if he doesn't get the fight to the ground, I don't see, and you can call me crazy, I don't see how Chris Curtis doesn't get the win if he doesn't get taken down to the ground, because I don't see how Rodolfo Vieira has anything for him on the feet.
He's gonna hop on his back, dude. He's gonna take him. He's gonna push him right up against the cage, and he's gonna hop on his back, dude. I don't know why you forget that's a part of the game. He don't even have to take him down. He can climb him like a short, stubby tree because he's not tall. Hop on his back, dude, and once he's there, game over. Game over. Rodolfo Vieira, RNC, baby. I believe that's how it ends too. By the way, it's gonna be Rodolfo Vieira pushing the smaller man, Chris Curtis, up against the fence, finding a way to the back, hopping on the back, and getting that RNC. That's the way I see this going. Rodolfo Vieira. Let's go, baby. Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck to him, but yeah, right, Chris Curtis, he's definitely a handful.
Yeah, so let's call it quits on those three as far as the picks: Josh Parisian versus Alan Boudreaux, Thiago Moises, and Christoph Giagos, and Chris Curtis taking on Rodolfo Vieira, because we pick three different ones there. So one of us have to win at least two of them, unless one falls off. Like, that shit keeps happening, dude. What the hell? It's like we'll pick an uneven number of fights, and one of them that we picked on will fucking fall off, dude, every week. It doesn't make any sense. It's crazy.
Every damn time.
It's crazy. That being said, moving on down to the prelims. Any others prelims here that you specifically want to talk about?
Boom Kelleher. He's one of those guys we both like watching his fights. I think that's actually a pretty interesting matchup against Mario Batista. Mario Batista is one of those guys. He feels like he's been in the UFC a lot longer than what he really has been. He's only 28 years old as well, but he's had a lot of experience in the UFC. And I think, for Brian Kelleher, do think he needs to try to get another win. He's been having a little bit of rotten luck here as of late, is trying to get a dub. I know he had a pretty good 2020. And I think since then he's really been kind of reeling. But I do think a matchup against Mario Batista, he's going to be a lot bigger than Batista. I think Batista's going to have the speed advantage, but I do think Brian Kelleher has the tools to be able to get it done. But that's why I like the matchup too. Is that Mario Batista, he's explosive, he's young, he's fast. Whereas Kelleher, he's got the power in his hands, he's got the submissions, that nasty guillotine that he's got. And he's, more well-rounded. So I'm excited to see that fight for sure.
Just to clarify, like, you're saying, like, that you think that like the Brian Boom is like the more muscle guy, like the more filled out guy, right?
Yeah, he's the bigger guy, more okay. And when I say well-rounded, I meant well-rounded as far as like heavy-handed, as well as being able to get a lot of submission wins. Where I'm not saying Batista isn't capable of doing that either. We've just seen Kelleher do it time and time again, whereas Batista is a little more improving.
Like, as I was going to say, I was like, well, like, Batista is the taller guy, and he does have like a 4-inch reach advantage on him too.
Yeah, but, no. When I say more well-rounded, I mean well-rounded as far as the tools, not the size.
I was asking, like, as far as, like you said, I like the bigger guy, so I didn't know, like,
thicker, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, well, he's not,
thicker, yeah.
All right, yeah, but yeah, that one should be an interesting one, dude. fucking rooting Brian Boom Kelleher, but dude, like as you said, his like luck recently just hasn't been too good. But I believe that he should get the dub here against Mario Bautista. One that I personally want to talk about, the teammate of Izzy, or is it Izzy or is it Rob Whitaker? Carlos Olberg, the Black
Izzy.
Jaguar.
Yeah.
Izzy's teammate taking on Tefon the Don Chukwi, training out of in like the DC area. Fucking, I don't know why I happen to know like where certain fighters train at, dude. He's just happens to be one of those guys. Tefon the Don, I believe he's probably going to knock out Carlos Olberg, dude. Every time I see Carlos Olberg, it's like, bro, it's like he's like Luke Rockhold. I don't. He's exactly like Luke Rockhold. It's like he's good kickboxing, but you're chinny, and you can get cracked, dude. What do you think's happening here, man?
I like this fight too. I think Carl Zolberg is. I think he's capable of getting it done. I think the biggest thing with him is he goes in there with his hands down. I think he tries to fight a little bit like Izzy, and he's not nearly as experienced as Izzy. Although he's got a lot of kickboxing experience, he doesn't have nearly the MMA experience, and I think he does a lot of that leaning and stuff like that, and keeps his hands down. And it'll work to a certain extent, but when you start getting tired, man, you gotta put them hands up. And I think that's what got him caught in that Kennedy and Zechiku fight, was that he just got tired, let his hands down, and Zechiku came through with a bomb and put his ass out. So, but I do think Carlos Olberg, he has the tools if he's able to kind of hone in everything. Huge guy for the division. He's 6'3". He's got a lot of speed. And I think that, he's going to be able to get it done if he's able to kind of hone in on his skills.
An interesting one. So I guess if one falls off, we can toss that one on there as well, that Dorian's going for the Black Jaguar, and I'm going for Tefon the Don Chukwi. All right, so the only other one of mention on here that I really feel like deserves of notice, Vanessa Demopoulos taking on Jinu Fry. People sleep on Jinu Fry, dude. How long have I been saying this? Dude, Jinu Fry was like the Invicta, I believe the 105-pound like fucking champion for a long time. For a long time, dude. She's super good, and it's like no one gives her credit, dude. The heart of a lion. She's so damn good. Taking on Vanessa Demopoulos. I believe Jinu Fry probably gets it done here. Interested to see the odds, so I'm going to check them out real quick.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that Jinu Fry was actually as old as she is. So to actually see her still fighting as well as she is, to be at age 37, yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Right now, Jinu Fry is a minus 260 favorite over Vanessa Demopoulos. I was hoping I would get better odds because, as you're saying, she is the older fighter, and I feel like no one gives her credit. Like I feel like everyone is like she's always the like the underdog, but it looks like those days are long gone, dude. She is a almost 3-1 favorite over Vanessa Demopoulos. That being said, dude, I might throw a little change on Vanessa Demopoulos there, dude. She's younger. Maybe she wants to hop in fucking whose arms is it going to be this week? DC or fucking Michael Bisping? Like fucking one of like fucking their arms next, dude. Will we see a fucking stripper dance this weekend? Find out Saturday. What's up, man? Any more on this prelims you want to talk about, or on that fight specifically?
No, I think we pretty much dried up the well on that.
The old well is empty. It'll get a little hungry
too.
You're in your J. Cole Dreamville shirt. I see that.
Damn right.
I just see Rainville.
Represent. I had to.
I was pretty sure that's J. Cole shirt.
Yeah, I had to put on a different color because I'm always wearing white, and I was like, man, you know what? I gotta switch it up. So I was like, I
usually just
have
like a floating head, like for like an hour and a half, just the head just fucking floating around. But yeah. That is it from us here this time. That was our picks. We'll catch us here next week. I will see y'all Friday for Change the Cheddar, where we try to turn $10 or less into $100 or more. Dorian can attest. We were close as shit last week. Could not have been closer. We almost won. We almost hit the Hail Mary.
Cash out.
Imagine if I would have just put like $1 on that and not like fucking Julian Marquez, dude. I would have probably won like fucking $800-900 off of that $1. But maybe we'll do it this week. Catch me Friday for Change of Cheddar. Back Monday for another card video. But that's all for me. I am Matt Anderson, Dorian Rose on the other side of your screen. We are the Golden Octagon MMA podcast. Catch us next week. Peace.